There we go.
On air.
Good evening. We're on the air. All five of us waiting for the public to come streaming in and fill the chairs. Tonight's the April 24th meeting of Planning Policy Commission. Since we don't have enough members present for a quorum, we're not going to be able to approve the minutes from the last meeting. So we'll hold that off till the next meeting. So tonight we have presentation of the proposed 2015-2020 Transportation Improvement Plan Program. And Gary, the floor is yours.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Now that
thank you
you've
very
found
much,
the program.
Carl. Thank you, members of the Planning Policy Commission. Gary Costa, Transportation Manager from Public Works Engineering. I'm pleased to present to you the 2015-2020 Transportation Improvement Program for the next 20 years. Also, we include the 20-year program. But as required by the state law, we're required to, in order to be able to use state and federal funding and half-cent gas tax funding, we need to have the projects listed in the TIP. This relates to construction projects that are using what's called the Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century Act, and also projects funding from the Transportation Improvement Board funding. MAP 21 was established and enacted back in July 6th of 2012. It stands for Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century, and it authorized the federal service and transportation programs for highways and highway safety and transit. As part of the process in beginning getting the TIP through to adoption, we're here tonight at the Planning Policy Commission. On May 19th will be council meeting to set the public hearing for the June 16th public hearing date. On May 29th, we'll be taking this forward to the Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee. And then on June 12th, the Council Infrastructure Committee will be reviewing it. We'll hold a public hearing again on June 16th, and then we'll submit this to PSRC on June 20th and WashDOT on June 21st. So in the past years, we've made several enhancements to the TIP that have come about from PPC group here and the commission. That is incorporating the safety, capacity, and concurrency charts. Well, actually, concurrency, don't have those anymore. I should take that out. Includes a 20-year, future year project listing. The transit and transit supporter programs are no longer in the TIP, but they are showing up in our operating budget. Because they're not a capital improvement, it's more of an operating to operate the transit and anything related to the.
So those are ongoing costs.
Yeah.
Not initial.
Right.
If you were building a bus shelter, that would be capital.
That would be a capital.
But if you're funding the 200, that's.
Right. So these are things like the transit now with Route 269, paying the fare box fee for Route 200.
Right.
Those things.
Thank you.
So we continue to budget for Route 200 and also for the transit now, Route 269, and not the transit now for Route 200, but the fare box for Route 200. We also included the non-motorized improvements that have come up from our Complete Streets program that include improvements to bike lanes and sidewalks, also crosswalks, and also audible pedestrian signal indications. And then the projects that came about from the bike ped plan, we've included the projects from that plan. And this is the listing of the input that we've received or will be receiving and have in the past during the year, requests from the public, also through the City Council goals that have established for 2014, Central Issaquah Plan that was adopted and approved various projects, a citywide bike and ped plan that has 12, 13 projects in that plan, coming forward to the Planning Policy Commission, comments that we received from the Transportation Task Force at the Chamber, going forward with the Council Transportation Committee. And then we have projects that are carry forward from previous years, and then whatever comes about from the public hearing on June 16th. This is a listing of our first 18 projects. I want to highlight the projects that came about from the bike ped plan, and that's the ones that are highlighted in green. However, those first two in blue, though the Black Nugget Road retaining wall repair and the Mountainside Drive slide repair, are improvements that we feel we need to make next year.
Those are brand new ones, right?
Those are new. The Black Nugget retaining wall has been in there as a future year project, but we have some improvements that we need to make that came about from a study that was done a couple years ago. And so we need to make those improvements, otherwise we want to make sure that that wall has safe integrity and stays in place. And the Mountainside Drive slide repair, that's for a study to determine what we need to do to that roadway to stabilize it, if anything. The project number 5 is listed as complete streets. There are about 3 or 4 projects in the bike ped plan that would be able to be funded through the complete streets program. These are projects that are $50,000 to $150,000 improvements. Number 7 is the North Issaquah Roadway Improvements East Lake Sam Parkway project. That was part of the bike ped plan, and this project is moving forward through design. We're at 60%. We'll have design completed by June, and we're actually be applying for additional federal funds this summer. Well, actually, no, this spring, May, for $2.5 million, and we've already received $3.4 million from TIB. Number 9 is the 12th Avenue SR 900 improvements that included bike lanes and sidewalks for the bike ped plan. 11 is the Northwest Holly Street that runs along the park that will carry the non-motorized trail all the way to to Newport Way, excuse me. And then number 12 is 3 Trails crossing improvements, and that's providing a traffic signal at Gilman crossing at Juniper Street. Number 15, we are identifying as a tributary 170 trail because it basically runs along the 170 trib, and it provides non-motorized trail from basically 12th Avenue, runs along I-90, and will connect into 4th Avenue, Lake Drive, where our North Issaquah Roadway Network improvements will be extended to. And that would then connect to the Pickering Trail that you take over to the Sammamish Trail. And number 18 is the Northeast Gilman Boulevard improvements for bike lane from Front Street to XXX driveway. 20 is the continuation of that on Gilman Boulevard, and then extending onto 3rd Avenue, across the 3rd Avenue Bridge and connecting with Sunset Way, and that would be a non-motorized trail. And East Sunset Way improvements, that includes a cycle track that was recommended out of the bike plan. That goes basically from Front Street to the Sunset interchange. And that's basically, the rest of the projects are projects that were in the TIP from last year, and most of those you see through 39 are from the Central Issaquah plan. Here I've sorted the projects by project type, so you can see how they're coming out with depending on whether it's traffic calming or roadway improvements. So these are 2 categories in the traffic calming area and the roadway improvements. And then I broke them down to roadway maintenance, street overlay program. Then the non-motorized facilities, alternative transportations from 3 Trails Crossing, Trib 170, Sammamish Trail grade separation, Northwest Sammamish Road non-motorized crossing, 10th Avenue non-motorized crossing, and the Northwest Mall Street pedestrian corridor. Then we have the Dogwood Bridge replacement that's moving forward in design. with construction to occur next year. And then we have the Front Street I-90 interchange reconfiguration that's set out in future years. One of the things that the PPC wanted to know is how these projects relate to multimodal comparisons relating to, comparing it with roadway capacity to transit supportive sidewalks and non-motorized. And this breaks those projects out that you can see how, whether or not how they fit in each one of those categories. And this is the rest of the 39 projects. We also break the projects out by matrix, whether it's a capacity improvement project, non-motorized, if it's a maintenance improvement, or traffic safety, storm drain utility, operations, planning, or parking. So these shows how the projects are broken out. And then this is the rest of them too. Then we're showing here the project phases and when we're planning on moving forward with the improvements. We plan to make some improvements for the Black Nugget retaining wall repair in 2015. The Mountainside Drive will be a study and possibly some construction. And then we have the street overlay program where we pretty much every year have overlays going on, and same with the Complete Streets program. We have the Dogwood Bridge. We'll start construction in 2015, and that project will actually close the bridge for a period of time so that we can get the bridge removed across the creek and then get the bridge rebuilt. Most of that would be done during the when school is out. The East Lake Sam Parkway improvement widening will be starting right-of-way acquisition, and this says construction. Actually, 2015, yes. In 2015, we'll be starting construction, and we should have construction done in 2016, and right-of-way should actually be done in 2015. The Southeast 62nd improvements are still in design, and construction is expected till 2017. And the 12th Avenue Northwest improvements and 900, we expect to be at construction in 2018, 2019. And basically the rest of those are kind of getting further out, so I'm going to skip over those. And then these are all out in future years. This gives a comparison of the comprehensive plan and compared to what's in the 2015-2020 TIP. I'll just leave that, go through this, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. And on this, the non-motorized portion of them, the projects that were completed and that are in the comp plan. And this is the map of the improvements, and that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. You have any questions?
So I couldn't figure from reading the description, several projects talk about bicycle and pedestrian safety and talk about sidewalks, but is there any new, can you elaborate on where sidewalks are being created or widened and where bike lanes, if any bike lanes are being created?
Did you say a particular project?
Well, the ones that seem to be the 7, 8, and 9, I think. The ones
Okay.
that mention safety improvement for pedestrians and bicycles.
Well, project number 7, East Lake Sam Parkway. We will be installing a bike lane on the southbound direction from 56 all the way down to almost Issaquah Falls City Road.
Okay.
A sidewalk will be constructed, basically starting just south of, or right at about where Black Nugget Road is. And there'll also be 2 connections to the King County Trail, one at Black Nugget Road, and another connection about 350 feet south of Black Nugget Road. And where we have sidewalks, we'll also be including a 7-foot landscape buffer in between the curb and the sidewalk.
Okay. What about the the bike lane separated from the traffic, the car traffic?
No, the bike lanes are part of the roadway. So,
Same
because
way-
we have the trail, because the King County Trail is so
on the other-
close
Right.
that we don't need to do a non-motorized trail.
The trail was closed for quite a while,
Right.
and I had to ride my bike on
Yeah, and it's
on the
paved
road
now,
there, and it
so-
was pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So how wide are the bike lanes?
5 feet where where we have a raised curb.
Okay. And then any 8 or 9, anything there?
Well, number 8, that's the extension of Southeast 62nd Street from East Lake Sam Parkway. We will actually have a cycle track on the north side of the road from East Lake Sam Parkway to the roundabout, the proposed roundabout at 4th Avenue. We'll also have a grade separation for the King County Trail. And so when the cycle track will come down and tie into the King County Trail, as you continue further west, there will be a sidewalk on the north side of the bridge that goes across Issaquah Creek, and that'll continue to Lake Drive. What we're not doing a sidewalk on the south side, and we're not doing bike lanes on that section of road because we're going to widen the Pickering Trail to take the place of that. And on 12th Avenue, 12th Avenue, that's our 917th Avenue Northwest, we're widening the sidewalk on both sides of 12th as it approaches 900, and we're adding bike lanes.
Painting, so separated from the traffic?
No.
No.
Okay, go. Hi.
I'm curious, you see this all the time, and I know I've asked before. Thank you. Some projects never seem to get any higher on the list. One I looked at, and we've talked about it many, many times, that Providence Point intersection.
So difficulty.
And it's sitting down there at 28 for out years, down the road. It's been there for a long time. But now all of a sudden we've got the Northwest Holly Street is a new one. The tributary, 170 Trail, Northeast Gilman Boulevard between Front and the Triple X, and Gilman Boulevard, 3rd Avenue Northeast, according to your cover letter. Those are new ones. And I know that apparently the Mountain Drive slide repair, something has to be done, so that gets kicked up. I can understand that. But how do these guys get on the list and all of a sudden, I guess in the past we've talked about it, and it's a matter of availability of money and when they can get done,
Right.
but I just think all those people at Providence Point have been waiting a long time to get that intersection fixed.
Well, it's a lot. You're right. It's a lot of money, and part of the reason is because it's serving private property, private drives, and because of that, it makes it really difficult to acquire grants from like the federal agencies or the state. And so because it's a lot of money, there are projects that have higher priorities, at least for, because
Okay.
we have other projects where we can have a higher competition for outside sources of funding, and it just makes it really hard to fund that. I mean, it's just a matter of priorities and where it gets placed. But it's not going to stop. If there is ever a grant that comes up that would make sense to apply for, we could still apply for the grant because it is on the TIP.
Right. And that's, I guess, the important thing is these projects are on here
Right.
so that we can look at them. Okay. Other than that, I think it's they're all well described and we know what's going on, and it's a matter of money and availability and time and all that kind of good stuff. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
And what do you need from us then? Do you need a letter of support?
The same as you do in the past. That would be great. Okay.
Is there
All right.
anything that you would want to add to the letter of support?
No, I don't think so.
Great.
My only concern is that there's only two of us here, so I don't know how we can really do anything as a commission, because we don't have a quorum. So I don't know how we can approve or recommend anything. So I don't know what you know,
Just write the letter that you're supportive.
we support, but we cannot, recommend approval because we don't have a quorum.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Does that seem to fit the bill?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else for the good of the order?
The good of the order is we can't vote because we don't have a quorum, so we'll have to figure out who's going to be the chairman the next time. Do that. Do you have an idea when the next meeting's going to be?
Second Thursday in May. Isn't that what we do, second? So the eighth,
That would be the,
the 8th and 22nd.
yeah, because the first is is next Thursday. So then so 2 weeks from tonight?
Correct.
And what are we talking about 2 weeks from tonight?
We are kicking off the comp plan and periodic review,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
which
I won't
we
be
have
there
to do
though.
it's ranged in different years, but, we've done it twice before, and this is, it's a big, supposedly big update, but since we update it every year, it's not as big for us. Plus, we just finished the central plan, which we have our growth targets in the central plan, so we don't have to worry about that now. We did all the environmental review work on this central. Sorry. So it's going to be an update, but it's not going to be a huge update like a lot of like Kirkland has spent all sorts of money and they're doing all this work because they haven't done theirs every year. And so there's a couple communities that are going all out. This is like their huge review. Ours, it'll be big in that we're going to have to update all the elements, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a lot of life-changing, transformative kind of things.
What about the fact that we're going to have all new members? Are we going to have to vote before the meeting to get that organized since, or?
No, we might just have to vote and have them, we usually try to do it in April when the
Yeah,
existing
because
commission.
their term starts next Thursday,
That
right?
starts on the 8th, yeah, so
Or
they're
the
gonna
first-
be
They're going to be
completely,
here coming in and,
and not know you
not-
guys at all, and not gonna know the issues, or, so I just always feel bad that some commissions have to vote their first meeting, so I'm not sure how you'd wanna handle that. I guess they can abstain if they feel terribly uncomfortable from voting, or
I still feel
they can
comfortable
vote.
doing that. I've been on many boards where that's how it's being done.
Mm-hmm.
First meeting, you may not have a strong opinion, but you
yeah.
But
Well,
you-
we'll-
but you do have, you have some
The
of
one
these.
thing that would probably help, and I would suggest, is that I know that copying stuff is not easy now. I had to pick up my own copy because you can't mail
Oh,
them or
right.
you don't do that. I would strongly recommend that at least for the next meeting, all the new everything get mailed to them if possible ahead of time.
Okay,
Just so that they can have it in hand and not have to rely on looking online or something. They'll at least get the feeling that we're looking at they get something in hand to read.
right, or even that they have the option, because I know when I used to email them to you, I would always say right in if you need a copy, let me know, whereas the new group that's taken it over, they just assume that everybody's very computer literate.
I would
kind of have to
recommend they all get
remind
at
them,
least,
yeah.
Get sent it. Because I
Right.
know that I can't look at this stuff on the computer.
Right, especially the numbers. I knew
just-
I had to,
I don't,
right, and we're going to do a couple of
us old dinosaurs like books and turning paper and all that kind of stuff.
And we're going to do a couple of icebreakers to kind of make them more, because there's going to be 8. If they all show up, there'll be 8 new folks. So we're going to do, introductions and kind of, we won't do the quiz like I usually do every time, the GMA quiz, but we're trying to think of things that'll make people feel more comfortable in just speaking up and talking to each other and that kind of thing.
Okay.
We'll probably have to do that maybe in the beginning of every meeting for a while until people get their feet wet. But yeah, it should be exciting.
Maybe, do you have email addresses for all of
Uh-huh.
the members? Maybe you could send them to me and I can write them a note welcoming them then ahead of time. As the
Do that.
chairman. Who they are and. And I can solicit their votes ahead of time.
That's right.
Oh, wait a minute.
There was something to it.
That would be something. I'll send them to Joan.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And Chantal.
I'm gonna tell them we're gonna vote and here's the person you're voting for.
Right. But they'll remember Chantal and Joan from the interviews, though, so you might have to, you know.
I'm not friends.
Whether they remember or not is another thing, but
No, we had good interviews. They will remember.
Yeah.
We had really good ones.
that's good.
And many of them saw me twice, so,
Yeah, they did. They did. And
Why
I
did they
wish
see it
now,
because I applied to both the planning and the.
she
urban
was on
commission.
two.
Oh,
different-
really?
I'm on
she-
both committees.
Oh, yeah,
So she was on the interview panel for both.
both of them, yeah. I didn't
But I
have to
wish
do,
now
I didn't
that
have
we
to do
would've-
that for Development Commission
That
this
we,
time.
I wish we would have gotten pictures for everybody as they walked in, because now I look at the 8 names and it's like, okay, I know 5 of them, and it's like, okay, is this the one? Because they kind of got blurry, so I have to go back through my notes and make sure I can have a picture in my head, 'cause
Okay.
As you're doing new
Name
tag,
tags, right.
Could you do me one? I can't find any of my.
Oh,
names.
I'll look, I'll ask.
Thank you, sorry about that.
But, so our friend upstairs can go home, we can adjourn at 7:06 and say the meeting's completed.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's do that. Thanks, Wes. No, this is good. Thank you.